Always Look for the Sunshine by Les Young of Engadine, 2233. Narrated by David Tredinnick. As I sit here in my 77th year, I can't help but reflect on what influenced me to make the decisions I made that resulted in me arriving in my current situation. From the start, I got lucky. I was very fortunate to be raised by a caring mother, widowed in her early 40s, and left with 5 children to raise on a widow's pension. In my primary school years, Mum sat me down for a short chat, as I was the eldest of the siblings, and therefore was probably seen as the one to set an example to the rest. "Everyone in this world has a reason to be where they are," she said. "You are no better or worse than anyone else, and you don't have to look up or down on anybody. Whether people look different, act differently, or speak a different language doesn't really matter." I can't remember how I reacted at the time, but her words must have had some impact, because over the years they've stuck with me. Now at last I understand what my mother was trying to impress on me. She believed there was good in everyone, and there is, but unfortunately there are some people who seem to prey on others, including greedy developers, using shoddy materials to maximize profits, then moving to the next job and doing the same, while not giving a thought to the havoc their poor workmanship causes. But thankfully, the wonderful, generous and charitable people far outnumber these grubs. One such young fellow I struck in June 2014 went far and beyond what a kind person might do to help a complete stranger. I was filling our milk truck with fuel at a different service station to my own, as the Bowsers there were having maintenance work done, and I made the cardinal mistake of putting unleaded petrol in the tank instead of diesel. I asked 2 customers at the Bowsers behind me to help me push the truck forward around 20 metres to let others fill their tanks. They agreed, and I got in the truck to guide it. Then I got out to help them from the side, but tripped, which caused my right foot to be run over by the truck as it lurched forward. Hearing me yell in pain, one of the other customers ran to the side of the truck, jumped in and brought it to a halt, just in time. I was relieved and grateful, but this was not the end. As I sat on a milk crate in severe pain, a young fellow suggested I should put ice on the injury and grabbed a bag of ice from the ice machine at the garage. I told him I would ring the NRMA and then my wife so she could come and pick me up. But hearing this, he left saying, "I'll be back soon." I wasn't really expecting to see him again, but about 20 minutes later he returned with around 10 drums of varying sizes. He said the fuel tank would have to be drained before putting unleaded fuel back in. Then he put down a sheet of cardboard, slid under the truck, not giving a thought to dirtying the smart casual clothes he was wearing, undid the fuel tap and painstakingly drained the full fuel tank, drum by drum. As he finished, my wife Kerry arrived in our car. Any trying times in our many years of marriage, Kerry had always been there to pick up the pieces, and of course this was no exception. Before the kind stranger left, I asked if he had a business card, thinking I would contact him later to thank him. By luck, he had one. I took it and thought no more of it for some time. At St George Hospital, the doctors told me it had been imperative that the foot was iced, as the injury could have become much worse without it, perhaps even leading to the foot being amputated. In all the confusion of the following weeks, the business card was lost. Days went into months, and then years, and always it haunted me that I had not been able to thank this generous soul, who had asked nothing from me and given so much. It wasn't until December 2020 that I once again returned to the area to drive down streets near my ill-fated refuelling incident. Ironically, in Claremont Avenue, barely several hundred metres from the service station, I noticed a business that I had missed in my previous searches. I stopped the car and walked in. On entering the premises, a man came out to meet me, and I told him my story. "Yes, I remember," he said. "You're the Milko. How are you going?" I thanked him profusely and explained how valuable his advice was about icing my foot. Then, in a very belated effort to show my gratitude, I offered him $150 so he and his wife could have a dinner and a bottle of wine at a nice restaurant. "Put your money away," he said. "You would do that for anyone." After that, my attitude towards my fellow human beings became much more positive. There will always be users and opportunists around, but thank God, there will always be people like I found in the service station that day. The end.